Running uphill and downhill is certainly a very fine art. When you compare the easy runners that can glide up a hill and coast on the downhill, and you see someone else working their upper body and twisting from side to side and grinding their heels as they go downhill, it's very striking in contrast and characteristics. And there's a few cues that you can dial in to really refine your efficiency. So let's talk about uphill. When you go uphill, your stride length naturally shortens. Depending on the severity of the hill, it'll shorten even more. From a gradual hill, and most of the hills that we run are between 1 to 4%, ideally you want to try to maintain the same body form, the same body language as if you're running on the flats. As the severity of the hill goes up, your foot will be on the ball of your foot. You want gentle midfoot support immediately to push off. The stride length should be much, much shorter than a flat road. Your arm carriage is tighter, and typically the hands will actually come up a little bit closer to the upper body, upper chest. With your head, keep your chin down just slightly. Don't look off in the horizon because that causes your body to become too erect. And by all means, don't bend over at your waist. I see people laboring up hills and they're slumped over like an old man. Stand up tall through your chest. When you reach the top of the hill and you start the descent, try not to overstride. The tendency, because the gravity starts pushing you down, is to really reach out in front, and it causes a huge impact if you land on your heel. All that impact is generated up through your legs, up through your spine, your entire torso, to slow yourself down. Think of actually taking shorter strides, even though they will be slightly elongated, and landing lightly on the hill. The second thing is you want to make sure you keep your pelvis lightly tucked forward, because that will keep your momentum forward. Lastly, don't feel as though you're riding a horse. I see people running downhill and they've got their shoulders pulled back, their arms are up like this, and they're grinding their heel into the ground. You want to feel as though you're leaning forward just a little bit, chin slightly down, and minimizing that braking force as your heel makes contact. So remember, uphill, as you're uphill, short strides, tighter arm carriage, chin tucked in fairly tight. Downhill, keep the stride length fairly short. Don't try to overstride. If you can actually think about opening up hip extension in the back rather than reaching out in front, that'll minimize that grinding sort of feeling. Chin down also as well when you're going on the downhill, and keep your shoulders slightly forward. Don't pull back, again, like you're on a horse. If you can remind yourself of doing that, you really want to try to replicate what it feels like on a flat surface. We have a tendency to overwork on the uphill and overwork on the downhill, and if we can slide up and down over those hills without changing our form, you've got it.